Hello everyone, how are you doing? So as promised earlier that we would be discussing a few question types that would help the potential IELTS candidates in cracking the IELTS exam. So fulfilling that promise, today what we are going to discuss is vocabulary related to IELTS reading. Okay? So I agree that basically IELTS reading is about skimming and scanning. So the reading techniques where you don't have to read each and every word but try to understand the gist, the central idea of the passage. However, if you have command over IELTS vocabulary, it's going to help you and it's going to have you an edge over other candidates with whom you're competing, right? So I'll be bilingual, as I told in my last episode. So I'll be using both the languages so that the Punjabi speaking candidates are able to understand, because it is for them I have been working on this, right? Otherwise they won't need to hear me, right? So मैं पंजाबी भी यूज़ करूँगा नाल. So what I mean to say is that ठीक है क्या जाता है कि skimming and scanning नाल techniques नाल तुसी IELTS reading जड़ी है solve करनी है. That means तुसी you don't have to read each and every word. You just have to understand the gist, the central idea of the passage, or for that matter तुसी सिर्फ hunt करने हैं answer. I agree 100%, no doubt about that. But अगर तुसी commonly used IELTS words जिहड़े है अगर तुसी वो सीखो, these are not much really. So I have worked on it. So this is the first set of 9 keywords which we are going to discuss. ये जिहड़े 9 keywords है, you will see in every IELTS reading passage or every other IELTS reading passage you will see these words, okay? So for instance, I used for instance. This is actually our first IELTS word. So these are the set of commonly used IELTS reading vocabulary. Basically, I've concentrated on reading, okay? These are the 9 words which you would find constantly used. Consistently they are used in one reading passage or the other. Okay, we'll start. No beating about the bush. We'll start straight away. First one is for instance. You will see almost every IELTS reading passage has this word, for instance. And obviously, you must know that it means as an example. You will see more often than not, तुसी देखोगे in the IELTS reading, you won't see an example written. You will see for instance. Okay? I give you an example. Okay? I have my reading passage with me. The instances of the passage are written. For example, the governments of many countries around the world have helped their citizens during pandemic. Take Canada for instance. So instead of example, they have used for instance. So तुसी देखोगे ज़्यादातर for example की जगह पे जिहड़ा word use होता है, commonly used word होता है, that is for instance. Right. So we move forward. The other potentially used word is potential. This also would be featuring in almost all of the reading passages. Potential. And the word meaning is having latent qualities which could be shown later, which could be developed later rather. I give an example from the IELTS reading exam, and which says an explanation of the potential savings a bike sharing scheme would bring. So this is actually the information in which passage type questions. What is this statement? An explanation of the potential savings a bike sharing scheme would bring. So potential potential savings, the possible savings, the potential customers. So many times the word potential is used. कितनी बारी potential word use होता है तुसी आप देखा होगा passages में. In case you are a student attempting IELTS, okay? And so if you are aware of this word, अगर तुम ये word potential पता है, which means anything that has hidden qualities, latent qualities, it will be very easy for you to solve the IELTS passage, okay? And then I move to this word so many times. How many times you have come across this word? Intended. And intended means plan. Your intention, or anybody's intention, or anybody intended to do something. Intended बहुत बार use होता. It means meant for. It meant for whom? It intended for whom? And I show you. I show you how it is figured out. It says a reference to the problems a bike sharing scheme was intended to solve. A reference to the problems a bike sharing scheme was intended to solve. Intended means a bike sharing scheme, a problem. Intended means plan to solve. Okay, so this is actually information. The question which says this information as in which paragraph. So you would see, and if you know the meaning of intended, how easy it would be to hunt for the answer, to find the paragraph which has this information. Okay, we move forward. This word now. See this word, likely. In all of the reading passages, I have seen this word, likely. Very likely. Very possible. Possibility. Promising. It's very, very commonly used IELTS vocabulary word. Alright, so I'll give you an example, okay, so that you can relate to the passage actually. And it says, children with good self-control. It's actually an IELTS reading exam, okay? It figured in the reading exam. And it says, children with good self-control are likely to do well at school later on. It's a true or false question. Yes, children with good self-control, they are likely to do well. So every possibility they will do well. It's possible. It's very likely. It's very much possible. So, strong possibility, likely. So don't miss this word, okay? In case you are IELTS aspirant. So make it a part, vocabulary and part of the active vocabulary by using it. By using it in your speaking, by using it in your writing module, okay? So this will help you. Alright, so next we move on to this word, altered. And altered also figures in a lot of IELTS reading passages, you know what I mean? And altered means, key matlab hai altered, it means change its character. There's a change, there's an alteration. It could be used in the form, alteration form, in the noun form, or in the verb, this is verb form, right? Altered. And it could be used in the noun form of alteration. But the meaning pata hona chahiye, bahut commonly used word hai. It means change in its character. Alright? So I'll give you an example how in the IELTS reading passage, altered has been used time and again. So it says the number of steps above the water level in a step well altered during the course of a year. I repeat, the number of steps above the water level in a step well altered during the course of a year. Remember the step wells passage, reading passage, Cambridge? Yes, exactly. I think you got it. So this is a true or false question, right? Okay. So after altered, now this one. Number 6, impact. I didn't see a reading passage which did not contain this word. You know what I mean? कोई ऐसा reading passage नहीं मैं देखा जिधर which ये word ना figure out होया होगे, ना present होया होगे. Impact means an effect, a marked effect, impact of something, right? Asar, effect. समझ गए? Impact का मतलब effect, impact. So I'll give an example from the IELTS reading exam. It says research needs to study. The question says research needs to study the impact of play on the rest of child's life. Yes, you got it. So it's from the reading passage, the reading exam, and it says research needs to study the impact, the asser, the effect of play on the rest of child's life. All right. So this is a word which you cannot miss. Right. So moving forward, this is preferable. This is also very commonly used word in the reading passages. Preferable means more desirable or more suitable. Preferable. And I'll give you an instance, okay? Where it will, मैं तो दसदा किथे use होया सीगा. Okay? The question says, IELTS question says, reading passage, it says, reasons why it is preferable to study animals in captivity rather than in the wild. Reasons why it is preferable to study animals in captivity rather than in the wild. Yes, you got it. So this is the question which says the information is in which passage. So it's also a Cambridge question. Okay. So preferable is बहुत important IELTS commonly used word है. Okay. So make it a part of your vocabulary. It will figure in many of the IELTS reading passages. All right. So moving forward, now this word, not just in reading but also in listening. सिर्फ reading दे विच ही नहीं, listening दे विच ही बहुत ज़्यादा use होता range. So many questions in the reading passages have this question range, and the range means when do we use it? A set of different things in same type. When we mean to say something of a set, an examples, a set, a types, a constituent, ingredient of something. Okay? So range is a set of different things in one single type. I give an example, then you will get it. Okay? मैं example देना है. Range बहुत use होता है. किਵੇਂ use होया reading passage में? Stepwells, वही Stepwell वाला passage में लिया, right? Stepwells had a range of functions. Range means lot of functions. A range of functions, not just one, in addition to those related to water collection. Yes. So apart from water collection, it had a range of other functions. All right. So range is also used in lot of reading passages. Okay. So make sure you use this word in your everyday vocabulary, so as to be familiar with this in a better way. Okay. And last but not the least, the word predicted. Predicted will be word in the verb form, predicted in the noun form, prediction. Okay. So predicted means estimated or forecasted. Prediction. All right. So I'll give you an example. Okay, I'll give you an example so that it's more clear to you. मैं examples की नाल IELTS Cambridge exam विचों reading exam च लिया गई हैं, so that you are aware how and where these words are used. So I give an example of predicted. All right. So the reading passage says, the aunts of Giraldo's experiments behaved as she had predicted they would. The aunts of Giraldo's experiment behaved as she had predicted they would. So it's a true or false question, right? So unless you are aware of the word predicted, you're not going to solve the statement. Okay. So it's so important. I understand that it's skimming and scanning, and you सिर्फ just central idea पता होना जरूरी है. एक word पता होना, it's not essential in IELTS, but these are the commonly used words, and if you are familiar with these words, and the more set of the words will be coming your way, Okay, help will be coming. I'm here. Okay, don't worry about that. So in the subsequent episodes, I'll be bringing. I'm working on the IELTS reading, especially for academic. Okay, so I'm noting down the commonly used words in the reading and in the listening, and I'll be putting forth in front of you. So मैं अंदर ले अंदर रहूँगा another word, but for these 10 days, at least practice these 9 words. I'm sure these are going to make a difference in your IELTS reading skills. All right. So thank you very much. And if you think this is of some help, don't miss to share it with the IELTS aspirant. If you have any niece, nephew, some relative, some cousin who is appearing for his IELTS exam, make sure you share this video with him or her. Thank you very much.